Welcome back to Ask Uncle Lee, or the Ask Uncle Lee slot. Right, so as always, if you've got any questions relating to magic, witchcraft, spirituality, all the stuff we discuss on this channel, just drop them in the comments to one of the Ask Lee videos and I'll add it to the list. Alright, so let's get going. Welcome to my channel. You are entering the world of magic and mysticism with your host, Lee W. Johnson. Keep the lights on and help improve the channel by becoming a supporter for just $2.99 per month. Hit the join button. Okay, first question today is this one. Alright, let me just move myself over there. There we go. And this is from Demetris, something like that, 77. Hey Lee, thanks for the great content. Pleasure. Thank you. I was wondering, what's your opinion on the various black magic medieval grimoires like the Grimoire of Pope Honorius, the Grimorium Verum and the Red Dragon, compared to grimoires like the Goetia or the Abramelin? They seem to be kind of a taboo topic in the occult community because a lot of the Golden Dawn members, Mathers, Waite, etc., denounce them as works of evil. So I would like to hear your personal perspective on these books. Honestly, I'm not aware that they were considered to be works of evil by the Golden Dawn members. I'm not sure why they would be compared to the other ones. I mean, Goetia, if we look at them, basically, they are, I don't know, the Grimorium Verum and the Red Dragon, or the Grand Grimoire, and books like the Red Book of Appin, such things, they specifically work with the demons, or what the authors actually referred to as being demons. But so did the Goetia. Abramelin did as well, right at the end. But with the Abramelin working, that's calling on your holy guardian angel, inflaming yourself with prayer, all of that stuff. And then right at the end, you call up the demons of hell and all that stuff. But yeah, those are kind of, I would say they're different to working with the celestial or planetary intelligences, comparing that to working with what these grimoires call the demons would be different. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're labeled as black magic workings, okay, which is probably why you said that some of these books were considered to be, or denounced them as works of evil, but never come across that myself. Anyway, well, what's my opinion on these black magic medieval grimoires? They are Christian. They are Christian grimoires, Christian books of magic, and that's all they really are. They are interesting from a historical point of view. They are also interesting from they kind of give you a directory of spirits you can actually work with and give you a starting point. I would personally not follow most of the directions of working within them. Grimorium Verum slightly different. Grimorium Verum is more a case of working with talismans, creating talismans on parchments, and working that way, calling the spirits for particular things. That's slightly different to most of the others, where you are, creating a magical circle, inflaming yourself with prayer, calling on the various names of God, and the archangels and the angels and all of these entities in order to protect you against these demonic forces. That kind of working I stay away from entirely. The Solomonic aspects of the Solomonic way of working. I just stay away from it. But as I said, they're interesting from a historical point of view. They are interesting from the perspective that you can get a directory of spirits you can work with. But the rest of it, the way it's laid out, the way it is, the instructions that come across with them, I would stay away from. Unless, of course, it's a particular grimoire which is working with the celestial intelligences or the planetary intelligences, like the Grand Grimoire, Solomonic grimoires and things like that, where we have the. Sorry, I'm still trying to remember a name here. Completely lost it. The Greater Key of Solomon, that's what I was trying to think of. But there's particular books in there, like working with the pentacles, the planetary pentacles and things like that. That's kind of different to what we're talking about when we're talking about the Solomonic grimoires, or the black magic grimoires as they were labelled. They are purely Christian based, and therefore they're going to have a kind of bent or a direction which is based on these spirits are evil and they should be trapped, bound, threatened, the whole toot. So yeah, not really my cup of tea. I'm not sure if that answers your question. I'm not sure if that's what you're actually asking, but my opinion anyway. All right, so let's go on to the next question, which is from, let me just get to my bigger screen so I can read it. Christine Chilling 8529. Uncle Lee, I have had this gift my whole life, and I used to find it scary and creepy, but now I embrace it. But it still does make me take a step back. I don't know what it is called, but I can tell when someone or animal is going to die. I can usually tell it will happen and a few months before death comes. However, when death is around, it's like the universe will not let me any longer near or contact the person or animal going through this phase. Do you know what it is called? And also, I have helped non-verbal people communicate to their loved ones what they need to be able to pass, but these are the only times I have been allowed to be around when death is near. I would really like to know what this is. I'm hoping you can help. Thank you. All right. I'm not sure if there's actually a particular term. I was looking for it earlier. I'm convinced there is a term for it, but I can't find it. This is very much death omen stuff, and quite often what people see is a person's fetch, and when we talk about the fetch, there are so many ways we can interpret this, from being a familiar, to being parts of the soul, to being this double of the person almost. In old European, and I think probably Irish, focused on the Irish law, there is this aspect of the person's double or their fetch, which kind of, you see the person kind of sees behind them slightly off to one side, and it's a double of the person. It's the person just as themselves, but they're kind of lingering somewhere in the back there, and that's usually a death omen. It's just before, it could be a couple of weeks to a couple of months before the person actually dies. The fetch is actually seen. But yeah, I'm not sure if there's actually a term apart from seeing a death omen. What you might want to do is try and find somebody who is a death doula, who specifically focuses on this kind of magical, spiritual, witchcraft aspect of the passing of a person, and just talk to them. I know there used to be somebody on, or used to watch this channel, who was a death doula, who is. If they're still watching and they're watching this particular video, could you just leave a comment? And Christine Shillings. I'm not sure if that's Christine S. Chilling. I don't know. I just read these at handles. That's all I get really. Anyway, yeah, if you do watch this channel, could you just reach out and you know, if you want Christine to talk to you. But yeah, try and find somebody who may be a death doula. They're also called death midwife, if I remember correctly, or somebody who works in the specific field. And you'll probably find that because you get the death omen, you see the death omen, you're not allowed to interfere with the rest of the process, and that's probably why you're not allowed anywhere near the person or the animal during that process. Okay, so I, for instance, help people pass on, understand what's actually happening, and then therefore I almost like I lead them to the gate type of thing, so that they can step through and move on. And therefore, I find it very difficult to call on, unless it's my own ancestors. That's a different story. But if somebody comes to me and says to me, "Can you call my dead relative and ask them a question?" I can't do that. It's not something I can do, because I cause them to move over. Therefore, I can't bring them back for a specific thing, a reason, and it's because I have a particular function, and that's my function. So it's possible that you get the death omens and you're not allowed to interfere with the rest of the process because it needs to take place. It's just part of their threads that need to finish and end. So I would reach out to somebody who does actually, somebody who is a death doula, somebody who does this as a living, as part of their everyday life, really, everyday existence and function. Reach out to them and see what they have to say. See if you can get some answers. Otherwise, not really much more I can actually tell you about that. All right, so I'm going to go on to the next question. And that is this short question. Let me just go back over here, sorry. From Fred Floyd 34. Uncle Lee, how does one get rid of demons? What name to use? Okay, now this is going to depend entirely on how you define this word demon. If you are, considering your question, getting rid of demons and what name to use, I'm going to assume that you are considering them as being these evil spirits, the definition that Christians have given this word itself. If that is your interpretation of demon, then you are definitely in the wrong place. That's definitely not my interpretation of demon, and probably not anybody else who watches this channel. And because of that difference in interpretation, I wouldn't want to get rid of them. They are the spirits that I work with. However, what you might be referring to is an astral parasite and not a demonic force. So let me just go through a very brief and quick explanation of interpretations. So the word you've used is demon, spelt in the Western Latinized, not even the Latinized version, because the Latin version of the word is daemon. The modern Westernized version, let's call it that. Whatever, the linguistic people can probably help me here. Anyway, so this is interpreted usually in our modern Western society and in our Christian overculture as being an evil spirit. That's not what the original word meant that this word came from. So it's the Latin daemon and the Greek daimon. All right, and this has from tutelary spirit to just something which is alive. If you go all the way back before, back to the Greek daimon, before we even had the word theos, which kind of separated these ideas, tutelary spirit or spirit from God. It was the all-encompassing everything. Okay, so if you're a Christian, that would be basically the Christian God was or is a daimon. Anyway, So the word has evolved, it has changed, but this modern interpretation is very, very different to what all of the other progressive interpretations, over the millennia, actually came to mean. So we do not use this word demon to mean evil spirit around these parts. Okay, if that makes any sense. If, however, this is a spirit which is attacking you, which is draining you of energy, which is making you depressed and anxious, which is telling you to do horrible things, that is not a demonic force. That would be an astral parasite and probably an imposter spirit if it has told you that it is one of these demonic entities. It's probably an imposter and an astral parasite and a lower vibrational entity. If that's the case, then what you want to do is tell it to piss off. Your vibrational frequency should be higher than this lower vibrational entity. Therefore, you can tell it to piss off, right? If you think otherwise, you are giving it power over yourself. Simple as that. So, first of all, tell it to piss off, and then go through a series of banishings, cleansings, and all such things, and get rid of it. But if you have come to a point in that relationship where you have come to trust it, where you have built that relationship up, where you have bonded with it, that's going to make things even more difficult. Coming back to your other question there, what name to use? There is no name to use. You simply do the work. You get rid of it. It shouldn't be there. It's like an internal physical parasite in your body, in your digestive system, or wherever that parasite might be. You take medicine, you wash it out, you get rid of it, you kill it, you destroy it, blah blah blah, etc. Same thing with astral entities, astral parasites. You just cleanse them, you get rid of them, you just banish them. By whatever means necessary. But there's no name to use. You don't call on any particular names. You can, if you want to, you can call on the archangels or any spirit that you have a good and bonded relationship with. You can ask them to come along and get rid of them. If you are new to all of this, then the first place I would go to is my ancestors. Create a relationship with your ancestral, the collective of your ancestors, because they are the ones who love you. They are going to want to protect you, and they are going to want to see the best outcome possible for you. Therefore, go straight to your ancestors and say, I've got this thing that's attacking me that won't leave me alone. What can I do? And they'll go, come along, and they'll go, boom, boom, bang, bang, piss off. So yeah, if you want to call on something specific, then I would start with your ancestors. Go there. If, however, you do already have an existing relationship with a particular spirit, god, a deity, an archangel, an angel, a jinn, a fae, whatever it is, whatever entity it may be, if you have a strong relationship, go to that entity and ask them, and they'll be able to help. Okay, because they have your best interest, because you've built that bond, you've built that relationship. This is like going to your best friend and saying, I've got this person that will not leave me alone. Can you do anything to help? And they'll go and, beat the shit out of them, whatever. Depending on what type of friends you've got, I suppose. But that's really what it boils down to. Okay, so I don't know if that helps. I don't know if I interpreted your question correctly, but I hope I did. And yeah, that's it. I'm going to leave it here for this week. I'm only going to try and do 3 questions a week, because if you watch me on TikTok now, I'm kind of splitting the Ask Lee questions into 3 and doing them that way. So, okay, I'll see you next week. Have a good one. Cheers for now. Bye bye.